Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Always a bit tentative at the beginning. I'm alive. I'm alive. Am I alive? There we go. I am live. I just need to put my extra screen on silent so that I'm not listening to myself. It's always a bit of a delay, isn't there? But welcome. It's Thursday afternoon. It's 4 o'clock. And was that the start of a children's TV program back in the day? I think so. Maybe not Thursday afternoon, but whatever. So thank you for joining me. I am just going to wait a few moments for some people to come on live. I hope this time of day works for some people. Obviously, it's not going to work for everybody. So hello to you if you're watching on replay. You're very, very welcome. I'd love to hear your comments in the chat, in the comments below, if you're watching on replay, as well as if you're watching live. I would love to hear where you are from, where you're coming from, where you're calling in from. And have you had a chance to watch the other 2 days masterclasses? I'd love to hear what you got from them. Sometimes people feel like there's no point commenting after the fact when they're watching on replay, but there absolutely is. It's really, really gorgeous to hear who else has been watching and what came out of it for you, what light bulbs. I've had a few emails from people saying what light bulbs have just been pinging on while they've been watching. So hi, someone's just joined me. Welcome. Yeah, thanks for coming. Let's get started because you don't want 20 minutes of me waffling, waiting for people to come on board. So day 3 of these masterclasses. Day 3 is the culmination. This is the final piece of how to like your body. 3 secrets to liking your body. I've shared 2 secrets so far, and I'm going to share a third this afternoon. And I'm going to talk about how you can work with me if you want to go deeper. That is absolutely something I want to talk about at the end, because this is just scratching the surface. And I really, really hope, I genuinely hope that you've got loads and loads of value out of these 3 days. So quick recap then. Secret 1 we talked about on Tuesday. So we talked about people aren't thinking about you as much as you think they are. So it's okay to give less shits what they might think. So some people think that if you start caring a bit less what other people think, you start caring a bit less about everything. You kind of let yourself go. You don't make an effort anymore. It's not about that at all. It's about, hey, Marketa, welcome. It's not about letting yourself go at all. It's about letting go of the standards, the unrealistic standards and values we are compared to, we compare ourselves to. It's about letting go of all the pressure that we put on ourselves and all the unrealistic expectations we have of ourselves, because that's what we've been told for all our lives. So it's just about thinking about, what are we holding ourselves back from? What are we putting on pause in our lives? That's one of the things we talked about quite a lot on Tuesday. What are we pausing in our lives until we have the perfect body, or we're closer to that ideal that we've got in our heads? And lots of things came up, lots of things that people are putting on hold or not allowing themselves to do because they don't feel good enough in the bodies they're in. So obviously this time of year brings up the idea of summer, thinking about wearing the swimsuit in public or going for a swim, or always comes up as a first example for me because I am such a fan. And I used to be like that. I used to either avoid going swimming or just, worry so much about the walk from the changing room to the poolside, or, on holiday, maybe when other people are sitting around there getting a tan and sitting in their bikinis, I'd be kind of hiding under a sarong or a cover up or something. Like nobody can possibly see my body because they're not going to like it. They're going to judge me. All the rest of it, they're going to think I'm disgusting. All of those things. We had somebody sharing they're waiting to have a haircut when they feel better about their body. People avoid the camera. Those of us with kids, we are not going to be leaving our kids any pictures of us to look at when we're not even when we're gone, but when they're older and they don't live with us anymore. They're not going to have those memories in the same way because we're avoiding getting in front of the camera. Or if we do get in front of the camera, we just obsess when we see the photos, don't we, of what's wrong with that picture, what's wrong with my body. We're avoiding eating out, we're avoiding maybe going out in particular in any kind of way. We're avoiding and putting on hold enjoying life. And we know now that people don't see us the way we think they see us. And that phrase came up, I shared, didn't it? That it's none of our business what people think of us. I wonder how that lands for you. Secret 2 we looked at yesterday, which was about you can eat without worrying about weight. And I won't go into all the detail of what we talked about, but we give food, the long and short of it is we give food this moral value. Food is a pleasure. Food is essential. Food is something we need to survive. It's a fuel it's two things. It's a fuel that we need to enable our bodies to do the things we need to do. And it's also can be an absolute pleasure if we allow it to. So restricting what we eat and when we eat and how much we eat leads to binging and gets us into that whole damn spiral of yo-yo dieting, putting weight on, losing it, putting more or back on, all of that sort of stuff. So today is all about it is possible to accept your body just as it is. And I wonder how that sentence in itself lands. Do you believe me? Do you think, yeah, well, it's possible for you, Claudine, but not for me? I wonder how that lands. I'd love to hear in the comments what you think of that. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying, oh, I've got a magic bullet and just, count to 3, close your eyes, and I wave my magic wand. It takes work. We've learned to hate our bodies or dislike them or disassociate from them. If we've learned something, we can unlearn it. Even if we learned it at a really young, impressionable age, and it's deep within the subconscious, we can still unlearn it. And that's the work I do with people, to really get to those subconscious beliefs and flip them so that we feel different, we think different, we behave different. I love this phrase from the book the book is called More Than a Body, from Beauty Redefined. Your body is an instrument, not an ornament. You're not on this earth to look pretty for other people's pleasure. Absolutely not. There's so much more to us than that. And Beauty Redefined, these twins from America who are both PhDs in body image work and stuff, they talk about objectification of women and how we've come to self-objectify. We just think of ourselves as an ornament, as something put on this earth to look good, and that is the most important thing about us. And it isn't. So we perpetuate this because we have been led to believe it, and we think that's the most important thing. We need to look good, to be attractive, to be beautiful, to be worthy, to be lovable, to find a partner, happiness, success, etc. So they define body image as positive body image isn't believing your body looks good, it's knowing your body is good regardless of how it looks. The Marchetti are saying it's possible to accept our body, but the question is of liking it. Absolutely. So it's a journey, isn't it? It's a continuum, and we have to accept it first. Some people try and leap from hate to love. It ain't gonna work. So how can we ever keep up with everything we are supposed to do, everything we are supposed to look like? The beauty industry, I'm sure I said this yesterday, tells us what our flaws are so they can sell us a fix. And the first example, or a really classic example of this, is cellulite. Nobody thought cellulite was an issue until Vogue magazine started telling us it was, and advertising a cream for us to fix this sudden flaw that had been there for years, but was never a flaw until they told us it was. So there's anti-wrinkle creams, anti-aging, anti-grey stuff, there's shapewear to pull us in and suck us in and flatten everything, Spanx, slimming lollipops and teas, it gets everywhere, this diet stuff. Apps that claim not to be diets, I might have mentioned already this week. I'm not a fan of Noom. It claims not to be a diet, but it is a diet. It's about intentional weight loss. There's support groups, obviously, like Weight Watchers and Slimming World, who make millions and millions of pounds from doing something that is pretty unsustainable. It's unsustainable for 95% of the population that tries it. Cleansers, detoxers, so many things telling us they are performing something else to our body, doing something else beneficial, but underneath it all is a not all, I'm not saying every cleanse is about losing weight, every detox is about losing weight, but there are many which will tell you they will shed pounds off you. So this all chips away at our self-worth, doesn't it? Because what if we are the things that, or we have the things that we're told we shouldn't have or be? So we have cellulite, we have wrinkles, we have grey hairs, we have wobbly bits, we have lumps and bumps that are not, it's not where our curves are meant to be. All of those things, we're going to feel crap about ourselves. Of course we are. So we're striving for something, even if we do get to that so-called perfect body, it's not going to last. It's going to be temporary because bodies change, bodies age. It is totally natural to put on weight, to lose weight. We've just been through a 2-year pandemic, very stressful time. And most of us will have put on weight, partly because maybe we weren't exercising so much, we weren't moving our bodies, we were eating. Sorry, I've just seen your message marketer. I can't see anybody else at the moment, but if you can see me, I must be streaming correctly, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm there, and she's shedding shame. But thanks for checking. So yeah, we're striving for things that are transient and unsustainable, aren't they? And we're always waiting for the day. If I'll be happy when, if I could just, and we'll never be happy if we are permanently striving for something different, something new. So this word freedom comes up a lot. So when I talk to clients and I do masterclasses like this and I ask people how they feel, it's freedom. That is the thing that keeps coming up, that word, freedom from the traps and the shackles that we put ourselves in. So when we can stop and accept our bodies now. Sorry for the pause. I'm just looking at marketers. When you click on the group, it's not there. I had to click on your name to get here. That's weird. Let me just double check. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if I'm doing anything different to how I did it. It's maybe trying to get on and can't see me. See what you mean, though. Okay. I'm just going to really quickly post. Okay. Click on my name to join the love I have written. That's totally appropriate as well, though, isn't it? Apart from live. Okay, I've posted that. So hopefully people will find us and join us when they can. I'm imagining for lots of people, it's kind of school run time. I don't know what I'm doing differently, though, to the last 2 days. So I'm going to have to get on with it. Hopefully people will catch up. But thank you for that, Maketa. So, yeah, so where was I? About freedom. So when we can stop and accept our bodies now and focus on wellness and prioritize our mental health and our physical health, we can be free, can't we? And I just want you to close your eyes for a minute, wherever you're at, as long as you're not driving or anything, obviously, if you listen to this. Yeah, just close your eyes. Just take a moment to think about what that freedom would mean for you. If you could accept your body, if you could start to learn to like your body, what would you stop doing that you do now? What would you start doing? Really picture that, really feel into what that would feel like, what that would look like, who around you would notice, what would be different about you, how would you behave differently? What would you think? How would you think differently? What would you say when you looked in the mirror or looked at photos of yourself? How does it feel to be free? So I hope that gives you a little bit of a sense of where you could be, where you absolutely could be with some work. It does take work. I'm not going to lie. So imagine the time, the energy, the headspace, and the money that would free up if you weren't worrying about all of these things, your size, your weight, your wobbly bits, whatever they are, your skin and its imperfections, if you weren't constantly thinking about food and exercise, clothes all the time. What would you do with that headspace? Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard to imagine. It's hard to even think that we can get there. It is hard because that's how we've been living, how we have been thinking and feeling for so many years. So, this is just a comment from Denise, who went through the program, the Body Kind Mind Code, last year. So she was in the first cohort last year, and it just really touches me, this comment, this feedback that she gave me, because this is what it's all about. It's not, yes, some people come out of the program and they're like skipping and jumping around and jumping for joy and absolutely full of life. But she says the course has had a profound effect on me. My confidence has rocketed. She started doing things like wearing clothes that she got into this real rut of wearing the same thing every day. It was baggy black things, shapeless things, in her words. Just wrapping up in big cover-up jumpers and things. But she started expressing herself through her clothes again. She says that there's plenty of other stuff in my life to take up my time and energy, and my appearance is simply not a worry of mine anymore. So it just frees up that headspace. We've got so many more things we can do with our lives if we just free up that headspace. So I wonder if this image resonates with anybody as well. So I wish I had her body. So two women looking very different, both wishing they had each other's body. So we assume that everybody wants to be slimmer, even people we see as slim often want to be slimmer. Often, if body dysmorphia is going on, then it's about losing weight, because diet culture is so pervasive. But sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes somebody wants more flesh. They feel too thin. And I think people who are naturally really, really slim struggle with being told that, oh, it's all right for you. You can eat what you want. And they might not be comfortable in their body at all for a variety of reasons. But everybody is comparing themselves to someone else. Everybody is. That's the important thing. But why don't we believe we are worth more than our bodies? Why don't we believe that? It comes from everywhere. The messages, education, upbringing, our parents, social media, films, TV, religion, patriarchy, fairy tales, Disney movies, peer pressure. There is so much around about this, and it needs to change. The tide needs to turn. So feeling better about yourself, feeling better about your body comes with a warning. Understanding all of this, really getting your head around all of this, might cause you to lose all those shits that you thought you had to give. They might just disappear and you might be fresh out of shits. And this can lead to intense feelings of freedom, happiness, liberation, empowerment. So what's the side effects of that? It could be whatever you're doing, whatever you're stopping yourself doing now. You might find yourself dancing, singing, swimming, wearing what you like instead of what you think you should wear, wearing clothes, maybe wearing clothes that work for your body, not hanging onto clothes that haven't fit you for 10 years because one day you're going to get into them. It could have you eating without guilt. Could give you confidence in all areas of your life. And that's something I've already mentioned, but definitely is such an important part of this, because body image impacts every area of our lives. If we feel crap about how we look and our bodies, then that impacts all areas, things that we think aren't even related. So if we can flip that, if we can start feeling good about ourselves, then that's going to impact every area of our lives as well. So another comment from Mel, who I worked with quite a while ago as well. I'm beginning to accept myself as I am, wobbly bits and all. I'm more aware of the pressures and influences we're subjected to, and of how miraculous each little bit of my body is, and how it steadfastly serves me every second of every day. I'm so happy, amazed, and grateful for what it's done during my 46 years. How often do we sit and think about what our body has done for us? We're so ingrained so conditioned to think about what it doesn't do, what is wrong with it, what are the flaws, what are the bits that don't work right, what are the bits that don't look right, what are the bits that give me pain. And of course that can be all consuming, but if we could just stop and think about the bits that do support us, do work well, do allow us to do things that we want to do, then we can start to really appreciate our bodies. It's a process. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's a start. And I recommend, I said the other day about creating an audit of awesomeness, and that can be specific to your body or to yourselves. It can be about your achievements. It could be about everything you've ever done that has served you and fulfilled you in any way. And it can be really, really enlightening and empowering to do that. So unlearning diet culture can lead to these things. I keep using that word: freedom, headspace, compassion for yourself and others. A lot of the people I work with talk about how they judge other people for their bodies and their behavior, and they judge themselves for judging, and they get angry with themselves. They feel really guilty and shameful for judging others. But that's the toxicity even of diet culture. It can lead to peace. It can lead to acceptance, giving less shits, better self-worth, and realistic expectations, undoing those unrealistic expectations. Knowing that, as I said before, so many people are comparing themselves to others, even people that we think, she's got the perfect body, she will be comparing herself to somebody else who she thinks has got the perfect body. So if you get this freedom and this peace and this compassion and this acceptance, it means that you can do all of these things. Eat the ice cream without any guilt. Wear what you want. Do the hobby you've been putting off. I think I mentioned earlier in the Masterclass series this week that I worked on some retreats. I did some coaching on some retreats last year for stand-up paddleboarding. And so many women said, I nearly didn't come because I didn't think paddleboarding was for me. I can't do that. I've not got the right body, the right strength, the right this, the right that. I've also got a story about a woman I worked with a little while ago who really, really wanted to get her roller skates out. She got roller skates gathering dust in the loft. And as a teen and in her 20s, she always used to go to roller discos, absolutely loved it. That was her outlet. That was what made her happy. She hadn't been on them for years because she thought she was too unfit, too fat, too heavy. She worried about falling over and damaging herself. She worried about falling over and then not having the strength to get back up again, looking like an idiot. She worried about, even if she didn't fall over, even if she was the most super pro on the seafront on a roller skate, she worried that people would think she was too fat and old and she looked stupid doing that. Guess what? After working with me, she dusted off those roller skates. She went out there. She laughed so much. She fell over and it didn't matter. She was able to get up again, and she just discovered that joy again. It was absolutely gorgeous to see. People that have worked with me have applied for jobs and changed careers because they found that confidence. They've started dating again. They've started ordering what they like on the menu. So some people stop themselves going out when they feel rubbish about themselves. They won't go out to eat. Other people will go, but they'll beat themselves up for what they want. They'll have the salad when actually they want the pizza or whatever it may be. But going out and just choosing what you're absolutely craving and what would make you happy to eat. And having the bloody dessert as well. Life's too short. So, and ditching the scales and the counting. So I think I gave an example this week as well about a woman who, she wouldn't go to her exercise class. I challenged her to go to her exercise class without her Fitbit counting her calories and her steps and everything. And at first she was like, well, what's the point in going? And just when we stop and think about that disordered thinking, why are you going there? Are you going there so you've got a number on your watch or on your phone? Or are you going there to get the endorphins going, to work your body, to, get stronger, to get fitter, all of those things, and to see people, and to have fun, and to have a laugh, and to bounce to music? She was going to a trampoline class. Yeah, so many things. Another client did a sexy photo shoot, which she was so out of her comfort zone. It was incredible. And she felt an absolute $1 million when she'd done that. So, excuse me. People talk to me about feeling terrified of putting on weight, just really feeling scared. because of everything we've been taught. And people try and shift their thoughts and behaviors without doing the subconscious work. So that's why not everybody is willing to start engaging in this. You know, I talk about just randomly, not in the street, but when I socialize and stuff, I talk about what I do. And you can see some women like, oh God, she's going to tell me I shouldn't be going on a diet. And people don't want to hear that because they are absolutely convinced that is where happiness lies, losing those extra pounds or stone. And when people do want to change their mindset, they're scared, they're terrified. What if I put on weight? What if I lose control? What if I stop trying to restrict my food? What if it doesn't work? So we need to shift that culture, shift that mindset, but we need to get into those subconscious beliefs to do that. So we can transform our mindset. I've developed this amazing, unique framework, this peace activation process method. And it's based on 5 pillars of shifting our mindset, shifting our thinking, shifting our subconscious beliefs in order to feel acceptance and positivity and appreciation towards our body. I'll tell you in a minute what each of those letters in peace stand for. They're a different pillar. So I did all the reading the books and going to therapy and watching films and listening to podcasts, and all of that is knowledge, and it's the action that needs to follow. Knowledge is nothing without action being taken from it. So that's what makes the difference. And within this program that I've put together, it has neuroscience, it has mindfulness, it has neuro-linguistic programming. I talk about blue health, which is the natural water element, and how that can enhance our well-being and how we feel about ourselves. And I've recently trained in the More Than Enough method, which is an incredible women's empowerment program, which I now bring into my own Body Kind Mind Code. So I talk about when I first discovered that I didn't have to feel the way I felt. As for some people, it's like a light bulb or a light switch, and you just can go from one place to the other. For me, it wasn't like that. For me, it was like a switching on a dimmer switch. And that first click just started to light something up and made me realize I don't have to diet. I don't have to shrink myself all the time. But then all that work I did, all that reading the books and watching the films and then doing some really deep work on myself, that's what lit that, turned up that dimmer switch further and further. So you can shine, you can do that too, and you can shine like you deserve to. I really love that. I'm part of a book writing collaborative book. I'm part of writing a collaborative book. I'm contributing to a collaborative book at the moment. It's called Soul Shine, and it's all about when are the times that we have dimmed our light and how can we start to shine again, let our souls shine. It's just such a great metaphor. So it's something we really deserve. We deserve to shine our lights, all of us. So a lot of what I do, I keep talking about this subconscious part, and it's about creating new neural pathways, new thoughts, new patterns, new habits, which impact our emotions and our behavior. And the really simple way of explaining this is in our brain, we have these pathways that are created between neurons, and they pass information and thoughts, and that's where our habits are stored. And the ones that are really strong are the habits or the thoughts that we have had for a long time. So let's say I look in the mirror or I look at a photo, and my habitual thought process is my double chin makes me look fat and old. And I've thought that for a long time, and I think about it every single time I see a photo, every time I get the camera out to take a selfie, I think about this thing, my double chin. So because my thought process has gone down that path so often, they're going to look like path number 1. There's a clearing in the forest. There's a really clear path. It has gone, so many people have trodden down it. So many thoughts have gone down that. The repetitive thought has gone down that path. It's cleared a pathway. So to start thinking new thoughts, like I don't care if I have a double chin, it doesn't mean anything about me. That's like me trying to break a path through the picture number 2. It's going to be hard work. I'm going to have to get my machete out and chop down all of those things. But if I keep doing that, if I keep practicing that over and over and over again, the more I won't need the machete every single time, because I'll start to tread that path. I'll start to clear that path. And the more I do it, the easier it will be to go down that path. Yes, it'd be so much easier to just go back to the other path, path one, but that's not serving me. It's not doing me any favors. And if I keep pursuing path number 2 with that new positive thought about myself, path one's going to overgrow, isn't it? Path one will actually, those neural pathways, if they're not used, they are actually pruned from our brain. Our brains are freaking amazing, aren't they? They are actually pruned from our brain. So eventually, with all that work, we clear that pathway to that new thought, that new behavior, which impacts our emotions and our habits. So we do this in the program that I've created with affirmations, with hypnosis, with journalings, with gratitudes. We have something in our brains called the reticular activating system, which we train to look for the positives, and all the coaching as well. So really uncovering, going deep and uncovering our beliefs and flipping them to something new. So some of the things we touch on, just really quick, short examples. We need to ditch comparison. We need to stop comparing ourselves to others and to ourselves. So we compare ourselves to old us. We might look at a picture of when we were, I don't know, whatever age, a teenager or in our 20s, and think, oh, I wish I could get back to that again. But you're not that person. So much has gone on. So much has changed. So much that you've experienced in that time. You aren't that person. So why should you still look like that person? And also, how did you feel when you were that person? Chances are there were things you hated about your body when you were there. So why do you think if you went back there, you'd just be magically happy with everything? Or even a future you. So sometimes we can compare ourselves to future us, don't we? We think, oh, well, when I get to that point, I will be happy. When I, like we've said before, lose the pounds, drop the dress size, whatever it may be. But we're never living in the now. We're always striving if we do that. We need to diversify our feed. So whether that's social media, whether that is magazines we read, whether that is the TV programs and stuff that we watch, we need to make sure that everything we consume is serving us. So, stopping following people that trigger you, stopping following people that you find make you feel crap. So many body positive or body acceptance, body neutrality, body kindness accounts out there that you can follow. So we also need to value our bodies instead of focusing what they can't do. I've already said this today, haven't I? Focus what it can do. Literally sit down, like I said, and write a list of all the things your body does. Think about all the things that are going on inside for it to fight infections and keep moving, keep the muscles moving, and the muscles strengthening the bones, and all of the digestive system, and your heart pumping blood around, and blood taking oxygen everywhere. And I'm not going to say anymore because I'm not a biologist and I'll get all mixed up, but it's doing so many millions of things in the trillions of cells we have in our entire body all the time, and we just take it for granted, don't we? So why don't people do this? Why don't people take that step to feel better? Because if we think about it, if everybody just started feeling better, feeling more positive about their skin they're in, it would lead to people taking more care of themselves. So often if we don't appreciate and feel gratitude for our bodies, we don't treat them well. So I've talked already about this, about the fear of control, or if it doesn't work, I think that's a repeated slide. But the tide is turning. Things are changing. As I said, I went from the before picture of feeling happy because that was my wedding day, liking my body, but being miserable, getting there and keeping at that stage, that size, that shape, that whatever, took so much headspace, obsession, over-exercising, slimming pills, all of these things that were really not healthy for my body or my mind. So I spent a lot of time, as I said, reading, watching things, going to therapy. I spent a lot of money on therapy. And I realized I really didn't have to subscribe to society's beauty ideals. So I now see that second picture of one filled with joy, doing what I love. So the Body Kind Mind Code, what I've decided to do, I usually run this as a 10-week program, which is it's 10 sessions. So sometimes there's a break in that. It generally goes over 3 months. But because of where we're at in the year, I've decided to do a turbo boosted version. So it's 6 weeks with a group of women online, a summer edition of the Body Kind Mind Code. So it's using that peace activation system, which I'll go into in a moment, And my dog's agreeing that it's a good thing. So many of us are looking forward to summer or looking towards summer with dread, aren't they? I remember speaking to people last summer, just saying how they hadn't gone out because it was so hot on some days. I know we didn't get a brilliant summer last year, but there's always a few hot days, aren't there? And on those days, they didn't go out the house. They stayed in. This one woman I particularly remember, she hasn't got any outside space at home, but she just didn't want to. What's that emoji? It's a little dog. Yes. My dog's joining in. She didn't want to leave the house because she didn't want to wear the baggy cover up clothes, the black stuff, the tents as she called it, but she didn't want to because she'd be too hot, but she didn't want to wear the clothes that would show any of her skin either. So she was stuck and made the choice not to even leave the house, which is going to have a detrimental impact on our mental health, isn't it? Oh, excuse me. So it's a group program. So you have the beautiful sisterhood of the... Shush, 1 second. You have the sisterhood of the other women who come along, and often it's that thing, isn't it? Nobody's had the same experiences of you. Nobody has had the same life, the exact same circumstances, but there is that camaraderie and that commonality in how we feel. Women really come together and share stuff that they've never shared before, which is just so powerful. There's so much shame around body image, and the only thing that will allow shame to dissipate and disappear and reduce is talking about it, bringing it out in the open. Brené Brown says a lot about that, about how shame will just thrive in secrecy and keeping it quiet, and it has to be talked about because so much of the time, pretty much always, somebody else is feeling the same way as you and has been scared to share it because they think they're on their own. So the 6-week program for summer will finish. It'll start in the beginning of June, finish mid-July. So just ready for you to, hopefully in time for you to go on your holidays, I hope, or just spend time outside in public, not caring so much what people might think. So it's based on these 6 pillars that spell peace. So the first one is pursuing a new perspective. That's all about ditching the diet culture, taking off the blinkers, and really starting to understand where all those messages come from that make us feel the way we do. The E is embrace your body, giving it the respect it deserves, moving it in a way that brings you joy, taking care of it. A is applying Blue Mind. So I talk there a lot about the well-being benefits of natural water or any water. So you don't have to be by the sea or by a river or anything. You can get benefits from having a bath in a really, really mindful way, for example. And we'll talk a lot about that and how body image can be linked to that blue health element as well. C is cultivating a new culture. So this is about how we really embed that learning. We start taking actions which free from the guilt and shame to enjoy your summer and beyond. So we look there at intuitive eating, intuitive movement, and just putting into practice new habits, new positive habits that really serve you. And then E is expanding your horizons. So this is about taking everything you've learned up to that point about body image and spreading it to all the rest of the areas of your life. That happens naturally by default anyway, without a conscious effort. But this is about doing it consciously so it has even more positive impact on all areas of your life and the people around you. So a big part of my mission is to help women feel more positive and accepting and happy in their bodies and healthy. I want this to trickle down to the next generation. I have a daughter, and even if you don't have your own children or daughters, it is so vital that we pass on these messages. Where do we think partly we get our own negative body image issues from? They come from the generation above. So it's our responsibility, whether we're parents or not, to pass on those different messages, those inclusive and accepting messages down to the next generation. So passionate about that. So that's what Expand Your Horizons is about as well. So I have put this together with all of my years and years of experience. I'm a life coach and NLP practitioner, so neuro-linguistic programming, a hypnotherapist. I mentioned the More Than Enough movement, women's empowerment, as well as having years of training and mindfulness. I bring these together in a unique way to take you through this journey. The transformation begins, as I've said, at the beginning of June. And you will believe on every level that you are worthy when you've gone through this program. This
Hey everyone.
is going to play.
My name's Catherine. I did the Body Mind Code Set course with Claudine. I just wanted to kind of share my experience with you. Claudine's absolutely brilliant and wonderful. Very kind but very challenging of your thought processes. And my main takeaway from it, and has stuck with me, is that I spent, there was one we worked out, or I worked out, that I spent 15 years dieting, or trying to make myself look different, or feeling guilty about eating this thing or that thing, or that I need to exercise to pay off for what I've done. And I figured life just is too short for that. So everything changed. Here I am doing you a video, sans makeup, in fact, with a slightly mascara smudged eye, with wet hair that I've scraped back, which I would never have dreamt of doing before. I was very much I need to have my makeup on before I do anything kind of person. I now dress completely differently, in a sense that I don't, if something stops fitting me, I buy something that fits me and I move out the stuff that no longer fits me. I don't save onto it for just in case I've lost weight and I'm going to fit this. I don't make myself fit it. I'm not going to be doing any of these silly Kardashian diets for a dress. Oh no. And I have stopped, punishing and restricting or feeling guilty about whatever food I take in. As a result, my set point, my body weight, I have no idea what I weigh. I don't have any scales. Is a bit more than it probably was before. But I enjoy my food. I don't beat myself up about anything. I don't feel like I have to exercise and weigh things out. Certainly for the summer, I have got some delightful shorts that I found are the most comfiest things in the world, and my husband utterly hates. And he calls them my Dora the Explorer shorts, because all I have to do is put on a rucksack with them, and he thinks I look like Dora the Explorer. But I couldn't care less. Especially in the summer when it's hot, the clothes are there for me to feel comfortable and get on with my life. They are the comfiest shorts in the world. I certainly don't worry about showing off the tops of my arms, which was one of my areas. I know this is big for Claudine. I even went in the sea a couple of times last year, and I'm not a water person. I'm a very much stand on the edge and sitting up a cup of coffee person whilst everyone else does it. But I even got in a couple of times, changed on the beach with a friend into a swimming cozy. I'm not going to be doing that in the winter, don't get me wrong. But in the summer, I did it, and I thought, I don't really care. Who sees me changing what? If they're looking, and they're the ones that are looking, it's nothing to do with me and my body. So it's been a massive shift for me. And I would totally recommend Claudine, any of her programs, any of her services to anyone. She is very knowledgeable and very caring and loving in her approach, but she's there to push and challenge you.
Mm-hmm. Gorgeous words from gorgeous Catherine there. It's giving you an idea of how the lasting change can continue beyond the end of the program. So Grace talks about the Body Mind Code has helped me shift my negative view of my body and help me reframe how I look and talk about myself. It's been incredibly empowering, so many light bulb moments throughout the course. embarrassing reading this bit out. Claudine is compassionate, caring, and knowledgeable. If anyone wants to get off the diet train and learn how to shift their mindset, this is the course for you. So I really do strive to be that, exactly like Catherine and Grace have said, that challenging but in a really kind way. And one of the most beautiful kind of endorsements of that I ever got, I still say it on a regular basis. I was doing I did a really lovely coaching session with somebody. And at the end of it, she said, "Oh, we've not done much today, have we? We've not really done any coaching. We've just had a nice chat." And I asked her, I kind of smiled and I asked her, right, what do you now think of the thing that the problem that you brought to this coaching session? What's your perspective on it now? And she couldn't believe how much had shifted about her perspective of that thing without really noticing it. She felt like it was just a chat, and I'd been gently kind of asking questions, probing a little bit, and in a kind way, hopefully. Yes, clearly, that's what comes across. So I am there to challenge you. I am there to ask you tricky questions, to ask you to face things that you might not have wanted to face before, but in a very safe space, very safe space. So if you're interested in going deeper, I really genuinely hope you've got loads and loads of value out of these 3 sessions. If you're interested in going deeper, going into this summer body mind code to just be feeling fantastic by the summer, the investment is normally £675 for the 6 weeks, and that I'll talk about what that includes in a mo. So if you sign up before, you've got a week to sign up, some time to think about it. Before 8 p.m. next Thursday, there's a special price of £525, and you get a bonus intention setting call. So a one-to-one hour-long call with me, which is in itself is worth £75. So the link is there to sign up, and I'll just see if I can add the link. Yes, I think I've done that. Added the link to the bottom of the screen as well. There's not too much going on the screen now. It's a bit busy, isn't it? If you want to have a chat about it, then let's book a call or DM me or email me or just get in touch however way you'd like to. Absolutely no obligation, no pressure, no hard push sales. It's not about that. I really want to work with women who are ready to do the work, ready to think about how they've been feeling about themselves and to shift, to really make some lasting shifts. Payment plans are absolutely available. If a payment all in one go is too much, then that's absolutely fine. And there's loads of information on that page on the website about how you can do that. So if you only take one thing away from these 3 days, I want you to know you can change how you feel about your body without changing your body. So often when people are thinking about engaging and getting onto the program, I'm going to have to shut the window now because it's making too much noise. When people are thinking about investment, it's scary. It is scary. I know the first time I invested in coaching a couple of years ago, or therapy prior to that, therapy was maybe different because it was, my therapist took it week by week, and it was financially, it was kind of not this idea of a big investment all in one go. But like I say, you can make payment plans. When I invested in coaching a couple of years ago, I was terrified. I was like, do I deserve to spend this amount of money on me? What if it doesn't work? What if I don't have the time to put into it? What if this is a waste of money? Can't possibly, risk spending money. And it's changed my life. It is the reason I'm here now, just really discovering my worth and finding the confidence that I have. I went to sit in front of a camera for nearly an hour a few years ago to talk about this stuff. So only you have the power to shift your mindset. Today we've just scratched the surface. And I believe that, that whole thing about time, I know so many of us are so busy, but if we really, really want something, we make the time, we find the time. I had a woman who was on the program recently who is a really busy mum, works ridiculous hours. She's got 3 boys at home. She's a single mum. And one of the main benefit, not the main benefit, but one of the great benefits for her was making that time, whatever evening it was, Tuesday evening, I think, she carved out a couple of hours to come on the calls. And then she enjoyed that time to herself. And the boys were told, You do not interrupt. This is my time. Unless a limb is hanging off one of you, then you do not interrupt me. And she didn't tell them when the course finished because she wanted to keep that couple of hours on a Tuesday evening to herself and have that respected boundary time just for herself. So we can find that time if we really want to. Investing time and money is difficult, but it is so, so worth it. And just imagine again, thinking of yourself going into summer, feeling good, and doing that work to get you there. So the prize, there is still the prize to be won of a power hour with me, which can be taken in the next couple of weeks. What I'm asking is for you to give me the phrases. I've given a phrase out in each of the masterclasses. This is the phrase for today. I am more than a body, because you are. So email me on my email address at the bottom there, claudine@seascapeblue.co.uk, or if you've got hello@seascapeblue, that's fine too. The 3 phrases, and I'd love to let me know in that email what you've got from the masterclasses as well. What are your light bulb moments? What are your biggest takeaways? Do that, please, before. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. Have I said a time and a date? I've said Saturday. I feel like I've said 8 p.m. Saturday. I think I've said 8 p.m. Saturday. So I'm going to say 8 p.m. Saturday. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget when I'm mentioning it again. Yeah. Email that gives people a chance to watch on catch up and collect the 3 phrases. And I'll announce the winner either Saturday evening or I'll pull it out of a hat on Sunday morning. So if you've enjoyed these sessions, find them eye-opening, thought-provoking, light bulb lighting, whatever the phrase is. Maybe they've ruffled feathers a little bit. Maybe there's been times when you felt a little bit uncomfortable. Like I said right at the beginning, that might be the case. But I hope I've ruffled feathers in a compassionate way. If it feels like something you'd like to get on board with, and you know that feeling in your stomach, the excitement, the fear, it's a big step. It's a big step, but I'd love you to come along for the ride. It's going to be incredible. Imagine again how that transformation will feel. It's about so much more than body image. So don't forget, the early bird price is not going to be there for long. And yeah, it is worth that investment. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. I think you might be right, Marketa, that it wasn't in the group. Thank you for bringing your energy, Marketa. I really, really appreciate it. And I absolutely hope that this saves so that I can put it in the group. I've also got it on YouTube. I'm streaming into YouTube just because it's another place for anybody who doesn't have Facebook. But I will make sure one way or another there is a link for people to watch it. So thanks again. And I send you lots of love. I look forward to connecting with you again in the near future. Lots of love. Bye-bye.